Hello everyone, welcome back to a tutorial series. Today we start working on attacking, and I already have the action tests and the action file open, so let's get started. So what kind of test can we write that gives us that will prove that we are able to attack using what I will call a melee attack action. So I think the most obvious test is something like melee attack action. When it completes, it lowers the HP of the target. So we should have an entity that will be the attacker. Add a position, and we should have we don't need an attacker yet, we just need a target, and this entity will be the target. So but we do need an attack action, and this will be a melee attack action targeting our entity. And unfortunately this doesn't compile, so let's create a quick version of a melee attack action. That implements action. This needs a make function. And this needs a target. So now this line does compile. Then we should be able to do attack action dot complete, and then we should be able to assert that our entity current HP is less than, let's call it an original HP. However, this entity does not yet have a current HP, so let's go into our entity and let's add a variable. We can initialize it to 10, for instance. Now this should no longer complain, and we can do compare to original HP. This should now build, and the test should fail. Okay, so the test failed. Let's make sure that it passes. So let's go back to our action and implement a proper complete function. And all this will do is we'll take the target, and for now we'll subtract 3 from the current HP. So let's run the test again. And now it passes. Okay, cool. By adding this property to our entity, the property HP, we did introduce a bit of an issue, because we remember we have our copy initializer that creates a copy, and notice that it doesn't copy over the current HP value. We also have a test for that. I'm putting this one here, but this test still passes, and the reason is that it doesn't take the current HP into account. So what we should do is we should manually set the current HP here to some different value, so that way we know that the copy cannot use the default value. And also we're actually missing a case here because we're never copying over the current action. So we'll set a current action to a dummy action. Oh, did I just remove current HP? And now if we run this these tests again, this test should fail. And of course, we also need to assert whether there is a difference. So we should make sure that our current HP is indeed the same. And the current action, we can use the description. Now this test fails. Then this is the reason why it's so important to always see a test fail first, just to make sure that it is doing what you expect it to do. It's very easy to get it to work correctly, or to get it to pass. By simply adding to the copy constructor. And now this one passes again. So that was a bit of a diversion, but at least we have that one working again. So let's go back to our action. So we're able to lower the target of an HP when we complete it. We also need to make sure that we can create these kinds of actions in a reasonable way. So let's create another test. Sets the target to entity, add a position. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to call the make function, and we'll pass in a position, our target position, and there should be an entity there, and if there's an entity there, then we can add it as a target in the action that we return. So we need an entity that will be attacking. Add a position. We need a target. Add a valid targeting position. So this one is standing next to our entity, which makes sense as this is intended to be a melee attack action. So then we have our melee attack action, which will be an of melee attack action.make. We'll make this one in our example map for our entity, targeting the target's position, and all entities can be our entity and our target. Now we should be able to get the target that is in the action. And then we can assert that our target in the action is the same object as our initial target. So let's run these tests. And the test fails because we're not doing anything in the make function yet. We only return an empty melee action, a melee attack action. So we should try and find our target entity. and this should be the first entity where the position is equal to the position that was passed in for targeting. And then target, we can return a melee attack action for our target entity. And now this test should pass. Oh, it's still running the test. Okay, so the test now passes. However, what if you target a position that does not have an entity? What do we want to do then? So let's, what I want to have is, if I have a melee attack action make, but I wanted to return nil when the position without entity is passed in. So if I pass in for targeting a position without an entity, I want to get a nil value back. I can use the same entities, I think. I can again create a melee attack action, but this time I'm going to target a different position. So I'll choose another position right next to me, but one without an entity. I do pass in all the entities. Oh, this is a throwing function, otherwise I can't use this try here. And then I want to assert that melee attack action is has a nil value. Also, I don't need to unwrap this one because I'm actually expecting a nil value back. So we can get rid of these. So this one isn't a melee action, it's maybe melee attack action. So let's run it. Okay, of course this fails because I'm returning an I'm always returning a melee attack action, only this time it doesn't have a target in it. We can solve this by making this a guard statement. And now the test should pass. Okay, so if this no entity can be found, we simply return nil. I also want to look at range. So this is a melee attack action, so it wouldn't make sense if you can just hit something far away on the battlefield. So our make should return nil when a position out of range is passed in. It's test that's very similar to this one, so I'm just copy pasting all this stuff over. Only this time I'm choosing a position for our target that is further away, but I am going to target the target's position, and I still expect that I get a nil value back. And that doesn't happen. And that's because we're not taking reachable tiles into account. So we should make sure that we check for reachable tiles in this map for the entity contains our targeting variable. And this is not yet enough because we also need to define a reachable tiles. So we need a static function reachable tiles, and this will be our entity's position, the neighbors, and we map these two D1s to the 3D coordinates, and this way we get all neighboring coordinates in as 3D coordinates back. And if we again run the test, let's see, our test still fails. We're not passing in all entities, and that's why it chooses the other one. Let's try again. And now the test passes. Okay, cool. So now we're able to create these. Now we're able to create these ones. So let's see. What's the next step that we want to do? Let's see if we can at least wire this up into our game a bit. Let's close this one. And let's see, we have our entity view and we have our attack button, and instead of a current action being a dummy action, we can use a melee attack action. Let's see what happens if we build and run. Okay, let's take a rogue. Let's click on attack. Let's choose a position. I'm not sure why this is a valid coordinate, but this isn't. It's a valid coordinate, but there's nothing there to attack. So let's say I move my rogue here. I choose my knight. I choose my position with an entity on it, and now I can execute it. You can't see it yet. Can actually make it visible that we definitely have this action. Let's go up and very quickly just wire in our entity's current action, or its idle. Okay, let's try again. So let's move our rogue here. Let's take a knight. Let's attack. We can note that the knight is now idle, but we can execute the melee attack action, and now it has this as the current action. We can't complete it yet because that requires the animation system, and that's what we'll do next time. But for now, this at least we can issue attack commands. And so that's that. What I don't like is that, well, let's quickly look again one more time. If I choose attack, I can also create an attack action for itself or on its same position. And you can click it and now it's there, but it doesn't really make any sense because it's an attack action without any target. So to prevent that from happening, what I think we should do is we should use our canComplete property on our action, and make sure that that is only true when there's a valid target. So our melee attack action canComplete returns false and target is nil. Let's need a melee attack action targeting nothing, and then we should assert that melee attack action canComplete is false. Okay. Let's pick up our action again, and we have a variable can complete. Let's just return false and try again. Now, of course, this only returns false, and we also wanted to return true when we actually can complete. So we'll create another one, returns true when target is not nil. And this is where we do need a target. And now we assert that this one is true. Let's try again. The test fails, but if we say target is not nil instead of a hard-coded value, now all these tests pass. If I now click attack, there's nothing there. If I move my knight, there's no button, but when there's only a button if I have a valid target. And now I can execute the action, and it gets set to the entity. One final thing before we wrap up, let's clean up the description, because the technical version isn't too nice. So let's just make sure that the description is something like attack and then the target's name. So we have a test for MeleeAttackAction description. We again need a target. We need a MeleeAttackAction. And we can assert equal that the MeleeAttackAction the description is attack target. Okay, so this one fails. No problem. We'll fix it by adding a description. We can just return attack target.sprite or nothing, just an empty or just some placeholder value. So let's move our knight, attack the rogue, and now we have execute attack rogue. Very nice. Also, I forgot to run the tests. Okay, that's it for this time. Next time we will do two things. First, we'll make sure that the entities can actually complete the attack action in the game, and we'll use animations or show animations when attacking. So thanks for watching and have a good day.